Here we have Devon's underwater camera angle on his backstroke. Again, we see Devon going real deep, having to work to really get to the surface, breaking out real early. The one thing I would like to notice is how much air is right on that hand. One thing we want to make sure you're doing is as soon as you're entering the water up here, make sure you're thinking about digging that hand down a little bit deeper before you're moving that hand backwards. That'll help give you a much stronger pull. You're going to be able to pull on more solid water, the garbage surface water, and make you that much faster. As we see you coming out of the turn here, great motion on that dolphin kick. You're getting good range of motion out of those hips. Great solid rhythm. You just need to work on being able to catch, bend that elbow, keep that high elbow. Right now you've got what we consider dropping an elbow. Normally that's something we mention a lot on freestyle. But then as we move further through that stroke, you've got a little bit of that S-shaped pull. So we want to make sure you're really thinking about catching up here and then making sure that your hand is pushing the water all the way back past your hips. When you're finishing out real wide with that S-shaped pull, that's making your stroke a lot shorter, which means you don't get nearly as much out of that stroke. Looks really good. Nice job, Devon. Here we have Devon's above the water view of his backstroke. One thing I can tell right off the bat is we got maybe a little bit too much of a gap between his rear end and his heels. You can get that tighten up just a little bit so you can actually press through those legs a little bit stronger so that you can really launch himself up and out of the water and then get back in. Get you moving forward here. Again, you're kind of diving real deep like you did on that freestyle. Make sure you're thinking about pushing back into that wall and then sending yourself forward. The one thing, if we kind of look into there, we're going to have a better view on the underwater view, but your hands might actually be kind of angled in a downward motion like that versus having those hands and arms just in that straight line. So make sure as soon as you enter the water, straighten out those hands so that you're kind of going in a straight line with the rest of your arms. Good use of your dolphin kick. You can actually probably get a little bit more range of motion, drive those hips up and down. The one thing I do really like to see is right here on that shoulder. You're getting a really good shoulder shrug. We're going to be able to actually see that a little bit more right there on that right arm. That's one of those things that you don't often find on non-backstrokers. So I think you're going to be able to have a really solid 200 backstroke as we kind of looked at freestyle and saw what kind of a steady kick you've got. So keep up with that shoulder shrug. That'll give you a good extension as you're reaching out in front, but that also helps really kind of bury that arm that's catching underneath the water. Gives that a little bit more depth, so you're going to be able to generate a lot more power out of that stroke. Okay, on the turnover, you got kind of a little bit of a gallop stroke as we're going here. We're going to slow you down going through that turn, getting tucked up here. Again, you've got a lot of gap right there and your heels towards your rear end. So we want to make sure that you are tightening that up just by actually getting tucked up with your heels a little bit sooner. You're waiting just a little too long before tucking up those heels. And through, again, good use of those dolphin kicks. I think you can actually get a little bit more range of motion. The one thing by looking at those, I think you can actually start thinking about pushing just a little bit longer underneath the water. And I would actually like to see at start, you've only got about a bend right there in your knee. I would like to see you actually get a little bit more flexion so you can generate a little bit more power out of that dolphin kick. As you get further away from the wall, as you're getting kind of out past those flags, then you tighten that up, really thinking about speeding up that kick so you can really end up getting up on top of the water and get out in front of the field. Love what you've got for that stroke length. Big thing is just really pushing through the underwater phase of that stroke. And then good finish right there, getting on that side, utilizing your length. Nice job, Devon.